The Power of One. You know this guest, and I had to speak to him again because there is just so much that keeps going on. So, we're going to do a two-part series today, and we're still talking about AI and scams, not Allen Iverson, but we're talking about AI and scams. So Jerry is going to educate us, Jerry Mitchell from the Attorney General's office. So Jerry, I'm going to let you start off and you're going to blow our minds. So let's talk about what's the latest thing, and you're going to show us some examples and things in that nature, right?
Yeah, we are definitely going to have a good discussion. And Melanie, thanks for inviting my office back. Good to be back here on your show, broadcasting in the Philadelphia area, although I'm not an Eagles fan. Uh, that's dangerous to say to y'all,
That's
to you
dangerous
folks
to
over
say.
there.
You might
That
want
is
to you might
dangerous.
want to retake that. I don't know. Well, my middle brother is Dallas Cowboys and has been since he was
Yeah.
a little boy. So, the tension in our households when they are playing is just it's fun. It's fun. So, we'll allow you to stay on the show.
I'm surprised he's still part of the family. Being down there. But folks, having said that, football season will be here in a couple of months, but what has been here and current and continues to be here is only going to get ratcheted up a lot more. A lot of the scams and frauds that we see day in and day out at the Attorney General's office, state police, local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, Interpol, which is international, and all of your agencies from multiple countries coming together. The kind of scams and frauds that we are seeing consistently and how they're affecting people's lives and how they're ripping off, they're tapping into people's pockets and pocketbooks. And these folks who do this and perpetrate this, these folks are evil. Uh, they're dangerous. They could care less. And their whole goal is one word: money,
Mhm.
how to get more of it. And this is what we're going to have a good discussion on. Always honored to be here. And I always want to give Melanie a shout out to say thank you for inviting our office here. And again, the concern that she has and so many other people has, it shows. That's why you have these kind of discussions and this kind of awareness. And as an outreach specialist for our office, this is what my job is: to bring this information to the public, initiate investigations, to protect the innocent and punish the guilty. That's the goal of our office.
And
And
it's important because we're seeing scams every single day. And with the victims compensation program, it's excellent. But people who are scammed out of thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars,
yeah,
it they're just lost.
yeah, they are. This information that I'm going to share with everyone and basically how this stuff happens. I always point this out to every group. You'll notice the keyword up there: how to help reduce your risk to identity theft and AI fraud and deception. I don't say prevent. I
Mm,
say reduce the risk. At one point in time, we have all been hit, or we are going to get hit with
mm,
some sort of a deception, some sort of a fraud, some sort of a scam, and whether it defrauds us out of a penny or whether it defrauds us into an action of trying to give someone our information, or it goes through and we're out of, I don't know, $1 to $50,000. I've seen a lot of money get lost from folks. And so to help reduce our risk and be on the preventative side, I really want to put that there out there too. That's what this presentation is designed to do.
mm.
My background is information system management with a concentration in application development. It's a fancy way of saying I'm a tech nerd or geek with this stuff, manager. I've been
Okay.
doing this now. Ooh, I'm showing my age here. I've been doing this now since 1994, 30
Wow.
years in doing this and studying and working in this field, in this environment. And I've seen the industry grow, morph, develop, change shapes, and shrink and get smaller to the point where it fits right inside
Hmm.
of our pockets now. And this is how these people are able to perpetrate this mobile technology. When it comes to technology and it comes to our day-to-day use of it, folks, it is so easy to track somebody. It's so easy to get someone's information nowadays with network sniffers, to see where people have been, basically what kind of apps they've downloaded, what kind of information they are accessing on the internet. These folks out here, these people who do this, fraud, scams, scam artists and fraud, in a lot of ways, they get their information legitimately.
Now let
And
me
it's
ask you
through
a question.
shared environment. Sure.
If I can jump in.
Oh, definitely.
Are they getting their information from people who post their stuff on Facebook, Twitter,
Yes.
or is it just because I have this device, someone can track me just because I have a cell phone?
Both.
Are you
Both.
serious?
Let's talk about the personal information first. Like I said before, I know a lady last year, she got divorced and she was happy as a clam. And she said she felt like she just got paroled. She got divorced and she took her divorce documents and posted them online.
No, she
Hey,
didn't.
everybody, I just got to it. Yes, she did. I saw that stuff go up. It was like 3 minutes later. I got on Facebook. I saw that stuff. The first thing I did was DM her, direct message her, and tell her to take that stuff down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what kind of document numbers were on there, file numbers that were on there? Not to mention sensitive information on the person that she had just divorced.
Wow.
And I told her, you need to take that stuff down immediately. Here's the reason why, blah, blah, blah. But I let her know. But that's one of the reasons people post a lot of sensitive information up there. Hey, this just happened to me, and they don't realize. And I've seen people post their driver's license up there. Just got my driver's license renewed. I'm like, wow.
Mm.
And when it comes to our devices like this, yeah, these are pretty much the most important element in our lives when it comes to electronics, but there's something else too. But when it comes to these devices and the use of these devices and networks or Wi-Fi's that we get on, what you were just alluding to, Melanie, was how people can track us when we're using foreign Wi-Fi's. Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Using a Wi-Fi inside of a hotel, you're using a Wi-Fi that's out in some obscure
Hotel.
area. Yeah, hotels. It's easy to sit back and crack or hack those Wi-Fi's, especially when they have very low grade encryption. If they're using some sort of old encryption, I should say older encryption, and they're using that, absolutely, you can sit back and hack or crack that stuff. It's not hard to do anymore.
So
And then they can mimic a hotel. You can see something that'll say Marriott, and then
yeah.
it'll say Marriott pool or Marriott ballroom or Marriott lower level. People will think, oh, it's all the Marriott. No, it's not.
Is it realistic that we get rid of cell phones? I don't want nobody to be able to, what scares me? And I know I'm jumping
But
around. Alexa. And that thing will
yeah,
just go off and
mm-hmm.
it'll just talk. But technology in itself is mind-boggling to me. I don't know. And again, I didn't like school. So let's be clear about that. Did I pay
Got
attention
it.
in math class? No. So, but just it
Uh,
amazes me that I can send someone a text and it'll go through the air and like get to that part.
yeah,
It just amazes me. One other thing I'm
yeah.
going to say, and I'm going to let you finish. My uncle, Kevin, love him.
Okay,
He's my mother's brother, one of my mother's
okay.
brothers. And probably in the 80s, we used to laugh at my uncle. And he was in the military. And seriously, I hope he does not get upset with me. And I hope he does not watch this episode. But like when TV used to come on and Channel 10, that logo that kind of looks like, he would duct tape that logo. And he would say, the government is watching us. They know your every move. And we're cracking up. Ha, ha, ha. Uncle Kevin losing it. But stuff he would say to us. And now, years later,
Yeah.
it's true.
Let me address your first concern. Okay, up front, we talked about getting rid of cell phones and getting away from the technology. Our economy and our basically our actions, whether in our movement of products and movement of people, it's all dependent on it now. Name it. I mean, products, airline travel, you name it, education, medical, it's all basically founded on it now. There's no getting rid of it now. We have built our society on this technology to do so much and to basically be connected so you are able to achieve your goal in so much. You need a phone in so many cases, unless you're of a retirement age and you come to the point where you don't your activity is very very low. And even then, in some cases, we're still gonna okay if you're gonna travel, you're gonna do certain things, whether you do it on your phone or at a kiosk or somewhere else. It's just a part of our diction now. It's a part of our DNA in society. Uh, your second concern was about, could you repeat that second concern you had or supplemental concern?
Are you speaking about when I was speaking about my uncle and
Yeah.
just speaking about Alexa and then speaking
Oh,
about
that's it.
like the TV? He
That's it.
said, the government is watch like they know our every move. People are watching us.
Here's the way it works, okay? Terms. Not so much every word that we say, but when certain terms are just spit out, or when our phones hit certain Wi-Fi's, certain networks, say we go out of town, for example, and certain network, we hit a new tower, it will indicate that we are in that area. Let me start with Alexa. Those things are Alexa, Google Home, those things are always listening. If your phone and your devices are set up for those things to be active, everything that you're saying, yes, it's listening to, but it's not. And in each structured sentence, okay, it's listening to in each syntax, I should say, in each syntax, certain words and certain terms. That then those words and those terms are fed into the system, it's compiled, and it's sent out to whatever industry. You say refrigerators, for example. Hey, need new refrigerator. You're going to get advertisements for like for Lowe's or Home Depot or
I'm
Best Buy
so
or
glad
something.
you said that because
Yeah,
my husband and I have been like we've been having a conversation with something and he'll pick up his phone and he'll be
yeah.
like, "Yeah, what is this?"
We're all connected now. Smart marketing. Smart marketing has been around since 2003, 2004. Now it's device driven. This past weekend, I was in New York, Manhattan, Upper West Side, Manhattan. I was in I'm from New York, so I went home. And when I got to New York, guess what I got? Advertisements on my phone. The minute I open up Facebook, hey, things you can do in New York. Hey, the minute I hit the towers in New York, and I didn't say anything. I was, by myself. The minute I get up there, the minute I get up in New York, towers. The things you can do in New York. I did not say, hey, I wonder what I can do in New York. No, my phone hit the towers of Manhattan. And therefore it said, this is a person that's not up here regularly. And it said, hey, here are the things you can do in New York. And it started giving me tourist things to do and eateries, which actually I did go to one of them. So, but that's just the way but again, it worked. And that's the way the world works right now.
AirTag,
Having, hmm,
AirTag
AirTag.
for
What about
children.
AirTags? AirTag,
So
the small AirTags?
that they drop in maybe their child's book bag because they want to track, and don't get me
Okay.
wrong, I actually like that, but
Yeah.
is it that the parent is not only tracking that child, somebody else can also track the child?
Well, the way AirTags work, AirTags are not cellularized.
Mm.
They are not by themselves cellular. They don't send out by themselves a signal. They ping off of I'm sorry, not Apple technology to triangulate where that AirTag is at. You understand what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
if I were out in the middle of the desert and I got an AirTag, it's not going to do me any good. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
in an airport and I got an AirTag, chances are there are other, and there's more than a chance there are going to be other Apple technology, Apple products there. So what's going to happen? It's going to ping off of a system that helps triangulate it. Apple, you got to understand something. When you bought your phone, you own the phone. Apple owns everything inside of it, the software, all intellectual property inside of it, Apple retains full ownership of. Having said that, they are using the ant colonization uh, basically format in which they use their technology to locate other technology. These can locate other technologies. So if there's an AirTag within the vicinity, it can ping a signal off of this right here. Hey, there's an AirTag right there. and that signal sends it back up to a tower, wherever it sends it, and that's how you triangulate it, and that's how you know where it's at. They're using their own technology to do it.
Mm. Okay.
Welcome to the
Go
world we
back
live
to
in.
what you were talking about.
So when it comes to this technology, guys, when we're talking about basically how identity theft and AI works and everything, and you had mentioned something a few minutes ago, Mel. You had mentioned about all this technology that we have and basically how is all this stuff happening. I'll give you a few examples of how it's happening. First of all, you got over 20,000 satellites in the sky. Every industry has satellites. There are multiple, some industries got dozens of satellites, maybe even 100. Google has definitely got over 100 satellites. Uh, what is it? Uber and Lyft, they've got their share of satellites up there. Microsoft, Apple, Facebook, you name it. So all these satellites, they're all triangulating us at all times. But the things we do to give us more exposure, our information more exposure, our use of social media, location and tracking services that are on our devices, website cookies, when we go out and we browse or we look at something, that stuff is easily trackable. And that information is actually sold by the industries too, and it's shared by the industries.
Mm.
When we go out there, good friend of mine who works for the airlines, and I told her, because I like to travel, and she said, okay, when you go out there and you use something like Expedia, make sure you delete your cookies after each use. She said they're
Mm.
tracking that stuff, and that's how they basically uh, give you a certain price based on you're looking at a certain location. So you always delete the cookies.
So, like,
Electronic
if we go
purchases.
on to these places, we're basically agreeing to their terms, and that's how they're able to share our information.
Once we no, there's not so much until you have done something, an interaction where there's been an exchange. That's when you're agreeing to terms, or you're agreeing to, hey, listen, I'm going to look. But just to look on it, it comes with the territory. If you look on this site, they can now look at the cookie trail of the person who did it or entity who did it. And now they can look at that IP address and say, here's what's attached to that IP address. This computer is, which every computer has a certain address to it, like a house. And now they can sit back and share that and say, this individual is looking at uh, refrigerators. This individual was looking at vehicles. This individual was looking at certain celebrities, was looking at the weather in a certain area. And that information gets shared. Everything you do on a computer gets shared now. The element what you were just talking about, the agreement side of it, say we download something or we agree, there is a website where you agree that if I go any further, I'm going to look, if I go any further on this website, I agree to the whatever they put up in front of you, the language they put up in front of you. That is called a user agreement. On a device like this, it's called a mobile user agreement. When you download an app, for example, and it says free or get, and oh wow, it doesn't cost me anything. Yeah, it does. You are agreeing when you click on that get or free, you are agreeing to give up your password. You are agreeing at times your password, but definitely your email address, phone number, name, definitely the name, address. You're agreeing to this. These are called mobile user agreements, mobile app user agreements. On a regular computer, it's just called a user agreement. You are allowing me to come into your app or virtual home. In exchange, I agree to give you this personal information of mine. And that's what's happening. And that's how these uh, industries get information from us. And that's how we get a lot of phone calls, we get a lot of emails, a lot of mail, junk mail.
Tell me
What do
something.
you
Data
got it?
breaches. Data
Mm-hmm.
breaches. How can someone do a data breach and like an AT&T or Verizon? How does that happen? And then gain multiple account information.
You be in two ways they can do it. Either in a data breach, either there was a system error where there was a vulnerability inside of the system encryption. That's A. B, there was an inside job. Somebody on the inside helped them do it. And in most cases, it's an inside job. There's somebody on the inside that feeds information. All you need is one person on the inside to give them the right code, password, whatever they need to hack into that system. Those
But
are the
isn't
two
that
ways it can happen.
easily trackable? And like, can't that be traced back to that person though? Like with all
Not
this
if they,
technology?
not if they know what they're doing. Not if they're good enough and they know what they're
Mm.
doing. Yeah. Hey, can it be? But if they're going to be gone and all of a sudden they suspiciously leave or quit, next thing you know, within a day or two, week or two, hey, I got another job, I'm leaving, goodbye, and that's what they do
Mm.
after they committed the theft of the information. All of a sudden, hey, I got a new job, and hey, next thing you know, I'm leaving. Meanwhile, the industry or the person who has people who are behind it have paid them $25,000, $30,000.
Now, what can they do with all of that information? Is that when they
Sell it.
actually steal someone's identity and gets credit cards, get houses, cars, or whatever?
Depending on what they stole, depending on what information they stole. If they stole Jerry Mitchell lives in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and whether they could send me information. But if they stole and it had like a credit card or a bank account assigned to, absolutely, now they can go off to the races and basically access my information or hundreds of thousands of other people information.
Mm.
Yeah.
What's the scam that you learned about recently that actually blew your mind?
What's the most recent scam?
That
I'll
you
tell.
learned about that blew your mind because you've been dealing with scams for so long, and with AI involved.
Oh, sure. Uh, One of the ones that I just got a phone call on the other day were text message scams that involved tolls. Say you were and I actually got one too, where I got an electronic receipt saying that I had passed through a toll in Florida. And I haven't been to Florida in a few years now. But it's saying the new toll scams are probably the most updated ones through something called SunPass, where this stuff is being
Mm.
generated and they're using AI to do it. And it's an electronic receipt told me I owe $19.51 for an outstanding toll record. To avoid late fees of $50, click on this link. That right there was a big, I was like, well, and I got somebody else up in McAllister, Pennsylvania. She had got hit with the same thing. And I said, nope, it's a scam. Don't click on anything. Delete that text message. Toll scams are the new is right now. If you get a text message telling you
Mm.
that you owe a toll, so Texas, Utah, wherever it is, I can tell you right now, you got to be really careful with that stuff. That more than likely is going to be a scam. The other
Well,
one,
that's not how
others,
they notify you of tolls anyway. It's by cash, right?
right? But it's by mail.
I
But
mean,
at the
I'm
same
sorry,
time,
not by cash, by
by mail, by mail.
the mail.
But if
Okay.
you're
What was the other
if
one?
you if you're but real quick as a supplemental to that one, if you get something like that by through text, in a lot of cases, a lot of people feel like, oh, it's just part of the scenery of the text scenery, and they're just using text now to communicate or bill me. They will believe it. So that's one of the ugly ones that's out there right now. The other one, when I say AI right now, what do you think AI means? What does AI, those two letters mean? Artificial
Okay, here's my
intelligence, right?
quiz. Artificial. I was going to answer the question. I mean,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
feeling like real smart today.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Level it up. Art AI now means advanced intelligence
Mm.
or or assistant intelligence.
Assistant
AI
intelligence.
tells you yes, it's designed to assist, but mainly
Mm.
it's now been termed as advanced intelligence. What is AI, by the way? Do you know?
I don't know the answer to that question. You can answer that one.
It is a set of programs designed to simulate human thoughts, human emotions, And basically, I would say uh, act and respond the way a human does, only 500,000 times faster. Whether it is
Mm.
analysis of information, financial, medical, that's what this stuff is designed to do. It's designed to move and move real fast to give a response, to assist. It, it pretty much is in most walks of life now. I would say probably about a good 35%, and it's only going to grow until it is in almost 100%. It won't be 100% because some things just still need to be done by human. Bricklaying, for example, fixing a roof, fixing a pipe, fixing a drain, things like that where you got to use your hands. AI can't do that. But when it comes to the intellectualism of how to solve a problem and problem solving and responses, that's where this stuff goes real heavy at. Criminals are very, very slick with it. They understand the same thing you and I do when it comes to AI, the manipulation of it, the deep fakes, the clones, supercharged voice scams, you name it. So let's start talking about examples of this real quick.
But let
Let's
me ask you
dive
a
right
question.
into it.
Do you
No,
have to be
sure.
like you said, you were like this geek, like you're studying this stuff. Do you have to be like extremely intelligent to even start to do something? Like I wouldn't even know where to begin.
In terms of begin, in terms of what? To do what?
Scamming somebody, you know what I mean? Creating this to scam somebody. I wouldn't even know where to begin.
These folks, I want to say this about criminals. They use their resources, their own intellectual resources, their own thinking power, their own thinking, their own activities to commit crime. They sit back and they say, how can we commit crime? How can we sit back and defraud somebody? And they study it. They study it up. They go to YouTube. They go to podcasts, TikTok. They use all these different resources, these tech resources, these platforms to study how to commit crime. So,
Mm,
do you have to be super intelligent to do it? I think the word is dedicated. They're
mm,
just dedicated. They're dedicated to defraud somebody. They're dedicated to committing crime. They're dedicated to lying.
mm.
They're dedicated to doing this stuff. To be
And
honest
I
with
guess
you, and that's not,
if they do it once and get money once, then they're just gonna keep going.
yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If I were able to let me get this straight. I was able to perpetrate a scam and a fraud that netted me $100,000 this week. So why wouldn't I keep on doing this for another 2, 3 years, and keep on going until I'm a multimillionaire,
Mm,
until I've got 10, $20 million in my purse strings? Why wouldn't I keep doing this?
right.
And they keep doing it, and they
Well,
have
I
no
am
problem.
looking
They're
forward.
not stopping.
I'm looking forward to hearing some examples. So now we're getting ready for part two. But to
Okay.
conclude part one, everybody, please do not post your personal business on your social media sites. I understand cell phones are extremely important. I have it. I need to be able to get in touch with my children, my grandchildren, my mother, my father. But watch what you post so you don't make it easy for those who are scamming. Get ready for part two. Peace and love.